Are you looking to finally start budgeting? Today I am giving you an overview of my favorite budgeting software, YNAB. In this video we will be jumping into the software where I'll be walking you through how you can set up a budget and track your expenses with YNAB. Coming up. Hey, this is Carlos with Influential Finance. In this channel, I make weekly videos to help you improve your personal finances. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Today, I'm giving you an overview of YNAB. If you remember from one of my previous videos, I mentioned that YNAB is the budgeting app that I use to track my expenses and manage my budget. If you have been looking to start using YNAB and want to get an overview of how to get started, you are at the right place. As always, if after watching this video you have any further questions whatsoever, please make sure you leave them in the comment section below. And I will make sure to answer any questions that come across this channel. So let's jump into the video. Before you start using YNAB, you must first understand YNAB's philosophy. In all other budgeting apps that I have used, you usually have to budget money that you haven't yet earned or that you haven't yet received. With other budgeting software, you typically look at what you usually make every month and make a budget based on your expected monthly income. With YNAB, you cannot budget money that you don't already have. In other words, you can only budget money that you currently have in your bank account or in cash. As money comes into your bank account, you can then incorporate it into your budget. Understanding this difference is key to understanding how YNAB works. If you are following along with me, make sure that you already created your YNAB account. If you don't already have a YNAB account, I'm going to leave my referral link in the description below. If you use my referral link, you will get a free month of YNAB and they will also add on a free month to my current subscription. Now let's jump over to the computer and get an overview of the software. We're going to go ahead and start by adding a few accounts. So if you look at the button here where it says add account, you can go ahead and click on it. It's going to ask you whether you want to have a linked account or unlinked account. Now, what this means is whether you want YNAB to be linked directly to your bank account so it can pull your transactions automatically, or whether you want to have your accounts unlinked and enter your transactions manually. So for the purposes of this video, we're just going to stick with unlinked accounts. So the first account that we'll go ahead and add in is a checking account, and we'll just call it checking for now. My account balance, we'll start off, these are just random numbers that I'm making up here, so we'll go with $1,500. We'll add another account, unlinked, and we will do a savings account, and we will go to savings. We'll just name it savings for now. Now, you can add multiple checking accounts and multiple savings accounts, but for the purposes of this overview, we're just gonna go with one checking, one savings, and now add in one credit card. So if you look here, we'll go with one unlinked credit card. Credit card. Give it a name. I know that a lot of people carry credit card debt, so let's say when you're starting off your YNAB, you're starting off with a $1,000 credit card balance. Now, this is very important. YNAB is asking you whether you want to pay off your balance in full this month or if you want to make it a goal to pay off this balance by a certain date. I have designated some time in a few minutes to go over goals and how you can set up some goals. So for now, we're just going to skip this. We're not going to set up a goal now. We'll set it up in a few minutes in this video. So we'll go ahead and hit skip this for now. Next, and it has added our credit card. So now we're done. And as you can see here, it has added our checking account for $1,500, our savings account for $2,000, and our credit card for $1,000. Now that we have our account set up, it is time to go over the budget categories. Now, keep in mind that YNAB gives you this nice template for you to start off with, but this template will never be perfect for anyone. Trust me, this is just a template and it's meant to be changed. Keep in mind that these categories are going to change for everyone. This is personal finance and it's going to be personal to you. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and make some categories that I use in my personal life, but this template looks nothing like my personal budget does currently. So I'm going to make some changes and hopefully you can make some changes to the categories to make it fit your lifestyle. So let's go over our main screen here. As you can see, now that we've added our accounts, we have some money that's up here to be budgeted. But before we start budgeting any money, let's first go through the budget categories. These budget categories, like I said before, these are just a template and they're meant to be changed. So So you can see here, YNAB created a category here for our credit card payments, and we'll dive into credit cards a lot deeper in a few minutes. Then we have here our what they call our immediate obligations. Like I said, it's meant to be changed, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it. I don't have a mortgage, I have rent, so I'm gonna go ahead and write rent. The rest of these expenses, I'll leave them as is for now. Next, we're gonna go to true expenses. True expenses is a funny term that YNAB uses. It really means like long-term expenses or annual expenses. Expenses that you really should be putting money aside for, but you may not incur on a monthly basis. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and rename this to annual / long-term expenses. That's just how I name the category. Doesn't mean you're gonna have to name it that. You can name it whatever you want. So auto maintenance, home maintenance, renters and home insurance, medical, things like that. If you don't want any categories, you can go ahead and delete them. I'm personally going to go ahead and delete some of these categories because I don't use them. And also because for some of these categories, I may take them into account in another part of my budget. So as you can see here, I have my medical expenses. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm going to go ahead and delete computer replacement. Software subscriptions, I have a whole category for this. Gifts, I have another category for this. Stuff I forgot the budget for, I can definitely keep that there. And that's about it. I don't have an auto loan. I do have student loans. So for my debt, since I have student loans, I'll keep that there. I don't have an auto loan, so I deleted that. Quality of life goals. I don't like to name it that. Personally, I prefer to just name it savings goals. Savings goals. I have savings goals, and this is where I save for like my vacation and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete fitness out of here and education. I'm gonna go ahead and add in some Christmas shopping. Christmas is on the same month, same day, every single year. So there's no reason why you should go into debt to buy Christmas presents when you can just put money aside every single month in order to be able to afford your Christmas shopping. So I'm gonna go ahead and add Christmas shopping. Keep in mind that for these categories, you can go ahead and move them and reorganize them as you please. So if you want to go ahead and organize them, go ahead and do so. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this here. So I'm gonna move my just for fun category up. I'm gonna rename this. I don't name it just for fun. I actually named this fun money. And this is money that I just throw in here to just spend on pretty much whatever I want. So gaming, I don't game, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. I don't play any video games. Music, I don't need music. Let me see. I'll create a new category for music in a second. Let me see. I have fun money here. This is where I also put in my giving. I donate to a few charities every month, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. Let's see. I have quite a few subscriptions like Netflix and things like that I just like to just keep in one category because those are just recurring subscriptions that I know will come every month. They're automated and they require very little thought on my end. So I like to keep those all in one category group. So I'll add in subscriptions. They are right here. Put them right here. I have my subscriptions here. And I'll go ahead and start adding in some categories. Now, before I go any further, some people literally just have one category called subscriptions under like their fun money or something like that. And they may just have one lump sum of money with all of their subscriptions. I like to have them all listed so that I know everything that I'm paying for every single month. It's just my personal preference. You can do it however you want to do it. So continuing to add some subscriptions. So I have here my gym membership. I have Apple Music and my iCloud. In order for me to get it to be exactly how my personal budget is, it would take me quite a few additional categories for me to get it to that point. However, the goal for this overview is to just give you a basic understanding of how YNAB works and how you can add and edit categories. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and keep moving on to the next section of this overview. And hopefully this has shown you just a brief overview on how you can add and edit these categories. One quick tip when you're setting up your categories is that you can look back at your last 3 months worth of bank statements so that you can see where you have been spending your money and you can see what categories you're going to need in order to make your budget work for you. Now that we've set up all of our categories, we are going to go ahead and start adding goals. you need to add goals for every single categories. And a goal will just tell YNAB how much money you need every single month for each category. We are not budgeting the money yet. You're just adding a goal to tell YNAB how much money you expect to budget every single month. So now let's go ahead and add goals to all of our categories. So let's start off with rent here. In order to create a goal for a specific category, you want to click on the checkbox that's to the left of the name of the category. So we'll go ahead and click here. At the bottom right here, you'll see create rent goal. So we'll go ahead and click on that. Let's say we pay about $800 worth of rent a month. So we want to make sure that we have a goal of $800 in this category every single month. Let's spend some time now to go over these goal categories. So here's a brief breakdown. When choosing a goal, we have 3 different goal categories: needed for spending, target savings balance, and monthly savings builder. By choosing the needed for spending category, you're basically telling YNAB that you need to spend that amount of money every single month. So in the case of rent, we need to spend those $800 every single month. So that is the category that we're going to go with. The next goal category here is target savings balance. If you are looking to save a certain amount of money by a specific date, you will use target savings balance. So this is just a way for you to be able to keep yourself on track of any savings goals that you may have. Monthly savings builder is basically just saving money without a specific goal. So let's say you want to save $100 a month and you don't have a specific target savings balance. You can just tell YNAB with the monthly savings builder that you want to save $100 a month, and it will make sure to have that goal flagged for you every single month on your budget. So let's continue here and go ahead and add the needed for spending $800 for rent. It's going to ask you, how often do you need this money? So I'm going to go ahead and hit monthly here. I pay rent at the beginning of the month, so I'm going to go ahead and say the first $800 needed for spending on a monthly basis and every first of the month. So I'm going to go ahead and save this goal. This may be a bit time consuming at first, guys, but keep in mind that having goals on every single one of your categories is key to making sure that this budget works for you. So the next category here is electric. I'm gonna go ahead and create an electric goal. I don't live in a big city, so my electric bill is actually pretty cheap. So I'm gonna go ahead and add, it's about $70 a month, needed for spending monthly, and it comes in at about the 15th of the month. It doesn't have to be exact. The closest you can get it, the better. But personally, like I said, the budget is yours to do as you wish. Personally, I don't really do very specific days. I just do either the 1st, the 15th, or the 30th, or the last day of the month. I don't go more specific than that. If it's in the middle of the month, I do the 15th. If it's at the beginning of the month, I do the 1st. If it's at the end of the month, I do the 31st or the 30th. But just keep in mind, that's what I do. That doesn't mean that you have to do that. So I'll go ahead and save this goal. Now that I've shown you how to add and remove goals and things like that, I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera just so I can go ahead and add goals for the rest of the categories, just so I can show you what it looks like. But I'm not gonna make you sit through an entire video of me just adding goals. So I'm gonna pause the camera, add these goals, and I'll be right back. So I just finished adding all of the goals except for the credit card here. Like we said, we started off with about $1,000 credit card balance. So we wanna make a goal to have that paid off, right? We don't wanna have credit card debt. So we're gonna add a goal, so we're gonna have a payoff debt by. You can also set a goal to pay a specific amount monthly, but for this video, we're choosing payoff debt. So I want to have this debt paid off by December. I don't wanna start the new year with credit card debt. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this goal. And it says here that we have to budget $333 a month, as you can see. As you can see here, since we added our accounts, YNAB sees all of the money that we have to be budgeted. Now, this is where a lot of people struggle with YNAB because, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, YNAB's philosophy is that you cannot budget money that you don't already have. So when you're first starting YNAB, you may not have enough money to budget for all your categories. But just bear with me for a second and you will see how we start handling those situations. So we can go ahead and start budgeting the money that we have to be budgeted to our specific categories. As you can see here, YNAB doesn't care what bank accounts your money is held in. So we have checking and we have savings. However, YNAB just looks at this and says we have $3,500. So now we're ready to start budgeting our money. As you can see here, we have $3,500 to be budgeted and we haven't budgeted a single dollar yet. So the first thing I'm gonna do is designate at least $1,000 here to my emergency fund category. So I have $1,000 in my emergency fund. Ideally, obviously, you want to have a lot more money in your emergency fund. A fully funded emergency fund should have at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. So I have made it a goal, as you can see here. So I have put $1,000 towards my emergency fund, but I have made it a monthly savings builder goal to continue to contribute at least $100 a month towards my emergency fund so that I can be protected if there are any emergencies that come up. I'm gonna go ahead, all of these expenses come in mostly at the beginning of the month. I know I'm gonna need this money at the beginning of the month. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this whole category here and I'm gonna click underfunded. So I can automatically fund your categories. That's also one of the advantages of having goals. If you don't use goals, then that you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to use the underfunded quick budgets option because YNAB won't know how much money you need in those categories. So that's also a huge plus of using the goals features. So we've already funded this entire category here. And obviously, as you are running a little low on money, you want to make sure that you are budgeting your essentials first. So, I know that my student loans, that bill comes in at the beginning of the month. That bill is about $350, so I'm gonna go ahead and fund that. I know these expenses come in at the beginning, at the middle of the month, so I'm gonna go ahead and fund this. Fund these. I'm gonna go ahead and fund my credit card payment because I really want to get out of credit card debt. And actually, you know what? This month, I'm actually gonna go ahead and budget a little bit extra. So I'm gonna go ahead and budget $500 for this credit card payment. And then, let's see, I have some annual expenses here and some savings goals and some fund money that I have not yet funded. So I see that I still have some money to be budgeted. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to fund my accounts until this hits zero. Keep in mind that as I am funding accounts, I am continue to look at this and make sure that I am funding expenses that will come in at the beginning of the month first. As you can see here, fund money I have not budgeted, so I'm gonna go ahead and budget that. Dining out, I budgeted $150. That brings me down to a total of $31. And my fund money, I have a $75 as a goal here, as a spending goal. It looks I don't have enough money for that yet. So I'm gonna budget what I have, $31. So as you can see here, my total budgeted amounts has hit zero. So I have some categories here that are not yet funded. But it's okay because these bills may not come for another few weeks. So let's say like a week or two have passed and you've received your next paycheck. So I'm gonna go to my checking account here on the left and we're going to go ahead and add in your paycheck. Once you add in your paycheck, it will add in some more money to that to be budgeted amount. So let's go ahead and click add transaction. Go ahead and click here. The payee will be your job. That's your job. The category will go straight to be budgeted. You can then choose whether this was an inflow or an outflow. This was an inflow. So I'm gonna say that I got paid $1,500, random number. Here we go. Then I have my $1,500 in the to be budgeted column here. The colors in the available column have changed. Green basically means that you have fully funded your goal. Yellow, or this orangey yellow color, basically means that you have not yet funded your goal. So as you can see here, if I look at my giving, I have $100 that I want to donate to charities, but I have not yet funded that goal, so it stays yellow. Since I have money now to fund that goal, I'm gonna go ahead and fund it, and that will change to green. This partially funded, as you can see with the little circle here, it'll show you that it was partially funded, but it's not fully funded. So I'm gonna go ahead and fully fund this goal. I can either type it in or just click that underfunded button here. These quick budget options are actually really good, really convenient actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and fully fund the rest of my goals here. I'm just gonna take the shortcut, go ahead and click underfunded, take the shortcut. This is very convenient. And I have funded all of my goals. Fully funded. Now, in order to see if you're missing anything, if you can't see from like all of the green and things like that, you can just click on the checkbox next to the category box here, next to the category column, and it'll select everything. And you can see the underfunded quick budget option here shows 0. So you have 0 categories that are underfunded. That means you have fully funded all of your categories. We briefly went over how to enter a transaction when we entered our first paycheck, but let's go over entering some additional transactions now. When you enter a transaction, you want to go ahead and select the account that you made the transaction with. So let's say I made a transaction with my credit card. I am gonna go ahead and click on my credit card. I'm gonna go ahead and click add transaction, and I'm going to go ahead and enter the payee. Let's say I ordered something on Amazon. Amazon would be my payee. Let's say that I ordered some groceries off of Amazon. Let's see, I'm going to type in here groceries. And the amount, let's say my total was about $50. I'm going to go ahead and save and go back to my budget screen. As you can see here, if we go to my groceries line, let's look at everything that happened. As you can see here, we budgeted $300, right? In the activity column, we have minus $50 because we spent $50. And then the available column, this is any money that's available for us to spend in this category. This money used to say $300, but now it says $250. That's because we just spent $50. But check out what happened here. We have here $250 left over in the available column, but since we spent that money with the credit card, YNAB has now moved $50 that we had available in our groceries category up to the credit card category. As you can see here, we only budgeted $500 for the credit card payment, but we have $550 available. When you spend money out of any of these categories, YNAB will move that available balance that you've spent on the credit card up to the credit card line item. This makes perfect sense because that way it'll make sure that you know how much money you need to pay to your credit cards every single month. By following this budgeting system, you'll pretty much prevent going into credit card debt ever again. So as you can see here, we entered our transaction, the YNAB moved our money up to the credit card balance, and now our credit card balance here has updated. Now let's go ahead and add in some more transactions. We said we were going to budget $500 to pay off our credit cards. So let's add in that transaction. Let's add in a credit card payment. So we're gonna go ahead and record payment. My payee is going to be my checking account. My memo, I'm not gonna fill it out. This is just a credit card payment. And if you see here, it'll automatically populate for you the amount of money that you have available to pay towards your card. This $550 is made up of the money that we budgeted to pay off our original credit card debt, plus the $50 that we spent on Amazon groceries. So we'll go ahead and hit save for now, go back to our budget screen, and as you can see here, since we've made that payment already, it has gone to zero. As you can see here, we have an activity of minus $500, which is the minus $50 that we spent on groceries, plus the $550 that we just paid to it. And we have the balance that has decreased over on the left here. And I'll go ahead and give you one more example for entering transactions. So I'll go ahead and click the checking account. We'll go ahead and hit add transaction, and we'll go ahead and hit payee. This will be your landlord. This will be for rent. Notice how we're entering this transaction from your checking account because I don't know about you, but I pay rent out of my checking account. I don't pay it out of my credit card. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit rent. My rent is $800 a month. I'll go ahead and hit save and go back to my budget screen. Then our available balance here says that we have $0 left. Now that we've gone over how YNAB transactions work and how credit cards work, let's now go over how overspending works when you spend more in a category than you've actually budgeted for. So let's take a look at, for example, my electric bill. I budgeted $70 for that. So let's say that this month I went crazy and I just left like the AC on all day and my electric bill came in as significantly higher. So let's go ahead and enter that transaction and see what it looks like. I remember I budgeted $70 for my electric bill. If I go in my credit card here, add transaction and hit electric, I'll say electric supplier, enter the payee, go ahead and hit electric for my category. And let's say I had an outflow of $95. My electric came out. As you can see here right away, YNAB is telling you that you've overspent $25 that you did not budget for. That's okay. It's not the end of the world, but just know that you need to cover this overspending with other money. So you have multiple options. We still have some money to be budgeted. Whenever you cover overspending, you have two options. You can either cover the money with the to be budgeted amount, or you can cover it with another account. So you can go here and you can click on it and go ahead and click cover. It'll say right here, cover this overspending with. Click on the drop down and you can select another category that you can cover the overspending with if needed. For example, this category here, stuff I forgot to budget for, you can click that and it'll pull the overspending from that category. So as you can see here, stuff I forgot to budget for, we had budgeted, I believe it was like $100, and now we only have $75 left because it moved to $25 to cover the overspending over here. So basically that's how you cover overspending. Whenever you've overspent in a category, it is crucial for you to actually cover that overspending either from your to be budgeted number or from another category. If you don't, it will then cause you to start with a negative balance in the next month. So I have $847 left here, and I have already fully funded all of my goals. So what I can start doing here is starting to budget for the next month. This is why I said earlier that YNAB helps you get out of that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. So if we go ahead and go on to the next month, here I'm in November now, and I can start budgeting for any categories 1 month ahead. This is what YNAB calls aging your money. So the idea is that you can start budgeting 1 month ahead and then eventually get several months ahead of your budget. This obviously, when you get started, this won't happen within a month or two, maybe not even a year. But this encourages you to continue to budget little by little until you're several months ahead and you have several months of living expenses already budgeted for. Now, I hope that gave you a brief overview of how the website works. So let me jump back into my chair over there so I can tell you a few other things about the YNAB app. And lastly, let's talk about the YNAB app. YNAB has an app that allows you to do most things that you can do on your computer. However, I highly recommend that as you get started setting up your budget, you do all of the setup on a computer screen if you can. This will make it easier to set up and edit your budget. Once you have your budget set up on your computer, you can use your app to enter your expenses and check your budget regularly. Like I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to get a free month of YNAB, I'm going to leave my referral link in the description of this video. If you use my referral link, you will get a free month of YNAB, and they will also add on a free month to my current membership. I really hope that this video has given you a good starting point to allow you to get a jump start on YNAB. If you have any questions whatsoever about anything that was mentioned in this video, please make sure to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer all the questions that come across this channel. And that's where I'll leave it for today. If you got any value out of this video, please make sure you hit the like button. It greatly helps out my channel and it helps my content reach a lot more people. If you want to learn more about improving your personal finances, make sure that you click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you get notified every time I post a video. That's been it. I'll see you in the next one.